You are listening to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all the latest news, Overwatch League results, and mishaps in Overwatch. Here are your hosts, Totemly Drunk and Edinar.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to Heroes Never Die, your one-stop spot for all things Overwatch. I am your host, Totemly Drunk. I can't talk today already. Good start to the show. Well, tonight on episode 174, we'll let you know what's been going down over the last week in Overwatch esports. We'll take a look at some of the hottest community topics from this past week and look ahead to Stage 4, Week number 5, as we finalize the playoff seedings and play-in tournament teams. Before we can jump into the news and introduce you to my co-hosts, let me just quickly take a moment to thank everyone who is joining us tonight over on Twitch for our live show, and of course thank all of our repeat listeners out there. So joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ed. We are like 3 or 4 days out from the Kit Kat rivalry week. We got the 12th play-in spot on the line, a couple of seeds that still need to get determined here for the playoffs and also the play-in. And I know it's been kind of a hectic week, kind of like across the board, not just in-game but outside of game. But how's this past week been treating you?
It's been treating me pretty well. It's some crazy. It was the final big playoff push for the Overwatch League this weekend. Like I know we have this past the Kit Kat Challenge weekend, but really this past week was the big playoff push. Meaning, like, we're going into the last week.
Yeah, like to guarantee top 12. Basically.
Yeah, like we're going into the last week, and only like one team is truly vying for a playoff spot. Out of the top 12. So this past weekend was crazy. I want to say there were a lot of good games, but that would be a lie. Because really, there were not that many like close, interesting games this past weekend. So I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that. We're getting all prepped for Classic WoW, all that fun stuff, and the chaos of 2 to 4 hour queue times to log into the game.
It'll almost be like playing a DPS in like Grandmaster right now.
Exactly. Like they'll probably queue for DPS and to log on to their WoW Classic realm at the same time.
And then
it will be a competition
WoW
to see.
WoW is gonna pop first in this case.
Yeah, exactly. So we got all that, but I mean, we hate to say it, but we're kind of coming up to a close on the Overwatch League season.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, okay, now we're starting to worry about contenders. We're talking about the World Cup, stuff like that.
That's October and November.
But that's the next stuff that's coming up. September is, we'll have the playoffs to some degree. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting couple of weeks ahead of us. So, how was your past week? Did you have fun?
Yes and no. I mean, I've been sick a little bit this week, so that's kind of a bummer. Like Sunday and Monday, which kind of sucked. But I've been playing a lot of Teamfight Tactics. I got a couple more days worth of work, and then I'll be on staycation for a Classic WoW launch, which I'm excited about. So either that's going to be the best use of vacation or an absolute trash shoot of a reason to take one. But, like, I have 4 weeks to take by the end of the year, and, we're already in late August at this point. So what the heck? Might as well use one.
Can I have some of your vacation time?
No. I don't think that's how that works.
Oh, because I could use some more.
Oh, I'm sure you could.
So,
but unfortunately, no. I can't divvy out vacation time to other people and or other companies, unfortunately. But it's been a good week. We had a lot of like one-sided affairs this past week in Overwatch League. My voice is already going and we literally just started. But outside of that, really not a whole lot else going on. We did have like the Overwatch League 2020 schedule getting posted, so I know I spent like an hour putting down like the first half of the season and start times across different time zones, which was kind of a nuisance since everything was listed at the local time based on whatever the home venue was. So yeah, I had fun with that, trying to do all that math first thing in the morning, so that was fantastic. But let's go ahead and jump into the news for tonight. So first off, we got a new workshop mode. I know everyone loves workshop modes, and everyone's been playing the hell out of Sigma. And now you can play Dodgeball into Overwatch. So the new game mode comes from the Reddit user Frickin' Popsicle69. It's really hard to take.
Yeah, like I can't take you serious with that name.
But anyways, Frickin' made this game mode that basically has teams of Sigma, and you're looking to hit enemies with the accretion ability. So basically, you're still able to shield yourself to protect yourself from incoming projectiles, and you could also use your ultimate Gravitic Flux to lock enemies in place, which would make them easier targets to hit. So in this mode, accretion is a one-shot elimination, so kind of like the Anna paintball, similar to that. And the experimental barrier only stops one incoming projectile. Now in the mode, I know they also increase the shielding in regards to the cooldown, so you can't specifically rely on that, so like you can definitely kind of like time around that if you're on the opposite side trying to throw two accretions at whoever that target is. And it's important to note, like with the ultimate, it still locks everyone in place, so it still retains that crowd control ability, but it's not unlocked until you get 3 eliminations in the game mode, so you have to basically earn it by actually hitting people with the rocks. Now, outside of that, I know the game mode arena actually shrinks over time because it's kind of like all within a dome. So you gotta keep an eye on that. So the further you go into the match, the smaller the arena is going to be. But outside of that, we're always looking for fun, different game modes to go in and try. And it's not every day that we see one that features the newest hero in the game. So this was one that kind of stood out because of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting game, and Workshop is, Dodgeball is perfect for Workshop. Like, it probably doesn't take too much, finagling of things to set up Dodgeball. And Sigma's the perfect character for it. I think my only question with this is Workshop really that popular? Like, I think a lot of it has worn off. Like the awesome, fun, let's try a Workshop has kind of died down a little. Because even like we used to do weekly updates on Workshops, and even now we're getting fewer and fewer updates on like new maps and stuff like that. It's like it may need a shot in the arm, something to push Workshop more towards the front line at this point, because now we're just getting basic, Dodgeball is very basic Workshop game. We haven't heard anything about people like going out and playing gun game or stuff like that. So like I wonder if Workshop, while it was amazing and is an amazing tool for the game, if it's dying off as a game mode because of the roadblock.
Well, yeah,
people are playing more of the actual game than this.
That is true, and Workshop kind of came out in a period that was kind of like a lull period. So it was like kind of a distraction piece altogether, but we haven't really heard any like sort of statistics here lately, so it's really hard to tell how much the popularity has kind of like gone away to an extent. So who knows whether or not we'll get another update from the developer team on that front. But that's not to say like we haven't seen more updates coming. I know they keep doing updates to like the Widow Train, and I know the Overfighter has gotten new heroes very recently as well, so it hasn't like completely gone away, but it has died down. Just to what extent, we just don't know at this point. But if you guys want to check out the Dodgeball game mode, you can use the share code 0V80F. And then you could go throw rocks at people and try to eliminate them. Just know that there's like no, like you can't catch the rock, so to speak, and then try to bring one of your teammates back. It's basically, you hit the person and they're out. It's one life only, basically.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're not a coach on the sidelines in a wheelchair, drinking your own urine because you love the taste of it,
And throwing wrenches at people.
and you're throwing wrenches, you're not really playing dodgeball.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you have, and it fits perfectly. Like Soul Dynasty should play that, because then you can play and you're like, I have Laser, Blazer, and Michelle. No? All right.
I mean, I know what we're talking about, because clearly, it's not like I didn't write, if you can dodge a wrench, ... as a
If you
title.
can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Mm-hmm.
R.I.P. Rip Torn. You were classic in that. Dodgeball, top 5 favorite comedy movies of all time.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's
It's so
memorable.
quotable. It is probably, like, after Anchorman and The Hangover, I think Dodgeball is the most quotable comedy I've ever seen.
Okay.
Like, ESPN Ocho the 8th,
Mhm.
I feel shock cotton.
Yeah,
Sorry, I could just quote Dodgeball the entire night.
I mean, for me, like, if I were to put, like, top 2, and I don't know what order I put them in, I would definitely have Anchorman and Super Troopers at the top. For me,
Super Troopers is up there, too. But Hangover, I would put Hangover up there. And, yeah. Dodgeball, Super Troopers. They're all great. Not Super Troopers 2. That sucked.
It was just okay. But while you can dodge these accretions, what you can't dodge is new bugs coming with the patches as they come out. Unfortunately, they keep resurfacing, and patch 1.39 was not without its fair share of bugs. So again, like last Tuesday, we saw the major patch drop. So we got Rollock, we got the competitive Roll Cube beta season, endorsements kind of expanded, we got Sigma, New Balance updates, all of that good stuff. But there were 2 major bugs that have been discovered with patch 1.39, one of which has been impacting competitive matches. So this is affecting the respawn timers for players during competitive matches, and the Defender respawn times have not been increasing during some of these competitive matches. Now, I know it was kind of like reported in 2 CP maps. We're not sure if it's affecting like it in like every mode, like quick play and competitive, or if it's just competitive. But basically what's been happening is the respawn timer is working, but not the way that it should. So it's basically working for attackers, and it increases the attacker respawn time to 15 seconds, when it should actually be happening to the defenders. So I haven't heard any updates on this or the other bug I'm going to talk about, and the other one is impacting Lucio, specifically his boop mechanic. So when Lucio is going for a boop on an enemy who is up against an incline, whether it's a staircase, ramp, things like that, the enemy hero is not flying back as far as they should, so you're not getting that distance created when you use your alt fire. So these are like 2 of the major ones. I haven't really come across this too much, primarily because, for starters, we basically have only been playing competitive on Thursdays, which we'll be doing tomorrow, more than likely. And I don't really play Lucio, but I know a lot of people have been talking about it over on the Reddit, so keep an eye on that if you are playing Lucio as your primary support.
Yeah. And like they pointed out in the article, you're going to have bugs with every patch. And the people complaining about the bugs, I have one simple question for you. Where were you in beta testing this out? Or on the PTR testing this out? Like, yes, these bugs got into the live game, but it's because not many people test out on the PTR. Like, people aren't testing out things like they are now on the PTR and realizing these mistakes. And, like, that's why it's out there. So you're always going to have these bugs in the game. Now, obviously, I think they're going to fix at least the respawn timer one, because that's kind of a glaring issue. The Lucio one, I don't know if they'll fix it right away. They'll probably fix it, but it's probably not super high on their to-do list.
Yeah, there was also the bug where you were actually able to do roll queue in quick play when that was supposed to come in September, and I know they went back and had already hotfixed that bug, because that was another one that we did see with the release of that patch as well.
Boo, they should have kept that. I can't wait for quick play roll queue. But, like, it's one of those things where, yeah, these bugs should have been found on the PTR, but not enough people are on the PTR testing it out. Like, most people go on the PTR, play 1 or 2 matches, and then log off. Test out the new stuff, and then they're done. So, yeah, this is definitely going to find its way to live. It's just, I'm glad we're doing the roll queue beta testing for competitive and actually finding out about these before it goes live.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully they fix it, but who knows when.
Yeah, it all depends on the severity of the bug and how quickly the dev team gets to it, because there's a pretty varying degree in regards to the duration that it takes for them to get around to something. Some of these things can go unfound or just not fixed for quite a little bit. Or, some just get patched time and time again, kind of like the Reaper teleport. That happened like 28,000 patches in a row, all of that good stuff. I think they finally got it down, but who knows at this point. But let's go ahead and jump into this week's hot community topic. So, for starters, yes, we have roll queue, and lo and behold, we are having issues in regards to wait time, specifically for high-end DPS players. Everyone acts surprised. Like, we figured that this was going to happen.
Like, we knew this was going to happen. Like, we 100% knew this was going to happen. Like, just by process of elimination, you're looking, let's say, top 500. Well, they want an equal queue. Like, they want, like, the people in top 500 want quality matchups and quick, queue times. Well, that's not possible. When you only have the top 500 playing, they're not all playing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have these insane queues for DPS players. Like, you've seen it in almost every game where they do this. Like, I still remember, to this day, World of Warcraft and Cataclysm, when the Troll Dungeons came out. The new Troll Dungeons came out in Canada. I was only a DPS player. I was a rogue. It was my first character. I was only a DPS player. And that was a 45-minute queue just to get in on DPS. And the thing is those people, if I wasn't doing good enough DPS, would just boot me from the group because they knew there would be a line of DPS waiting to get in. Thank God you can't kick DPS out in Overwatch, but we knew this was going to happen. I don't know how they can make the queue time shorter.
Right, because if you kind of get into the position where they're going to allow people that aren't the right rank into those games, that's going to cause an even bigger ripple effect. But we have seen, streamers like Kefri sitting in a queue time for 64 minutes only for the timer to reset back to 0. Feels bad, man. And I know Gale had commented that the average wait time has, been 30-plus minutes pretty consistently at the high ranks, which is leading to a lot of these players feeling unmotivated to play DPS at this point. And, it's not just, impacting, when you're placed, it's also trickling down to placement matches as well. And not only that, but we are seeing it to a degree also on Xbox One and PS4. It's just not as exaggerated. And, you and I don't really know too many players that are playing on console, but I know, in the article posted, the wait times for DPS were, around over 12 minutes, which, honestly, comparatively isn't that bad. But it comes to show, so many people want to play DPS. There are a lot of people out there that's a primary role. They prefer to play DPS, and we've kind of like gone through the lulls of having to learn these other roles in order to play, and you know, a lot of that was due to the 3-3 meta at the time, and now we're just seeing a situation where this is only impacting like the top 5% of the player base. So I don't know what the fix is. Like, I know we have incentive across the board for in-demand roles, but when everyone's queuing as a DPS, you can't really have something in place to kind of like jump the line, so to speak, you know?
Well, yes and no. Like, you can queue with a tank or a support player, and you will jump up in the queue time if you do that. So the smartest thing to do is find a tank friend and queue with them. The other solution that I thought of is, I thought of this last night because I was watching some streamers, and like Jake was on. I'm like, I haven't seen Jake stream in months at this point. So I log on to his like stream, and he's legit playing a different game. Like, that's what they're doing, is they're playing other games that they can just, on the drop of a hat, just stop and pause and come back to. Well, that's not good for the game. Like, for streamers, that's awesome for streamers, but that's not good for the game. So my solution is, why not let them queue and then allow them to queue for something else? So, like, let's say like they queue, and then they can go into quick play, or they can go into arcade. Now, when their queue pops up for competitive, by all means, it does not kick them out of the game. They do not leave the game. But let's say you're in arcade and you're playing, and your queue pops in the game. You don't realize it, but when you get out of the arcade game, your queue pops because you're first in line. It's kind of like, actually, Warcraft does this. Now, like, you can queue for all wings of LFR at the same time. And then when one pops, you'll go into that. And you'll stay queued in the other ones. And then when you get out of, like, the first wing of LFR, you almost insta-pop the second queue for the second wing of LFR because you were in line that entire time. So why not let them queue for competitive and then go into quick play or go into arcade and let them do these random bullshit games, and then once that's over, then they're into the competitive game.
I guess at the end of the day, that really depends on if they actually want to play quick play or arcade mode. Because a lot of the streamers just like to strictly run competitive play.
They do, but if those same streamers are spending 30 minutes, 40 minutes at a time,
right, they're less
not
likely to
playing the game, then you'll lose viewers.
Right.
You just will.
And
so if they can do something else in the meantime to play the game and have viewers, they would do that.
Yeah, and it's worth noting too, like, across Twitch, the viewership for Overwatch since patch 1.39 came out has been really good. It's been pretty stable. So we'll see how much that trend is going to continue as the weeks progress, but things are looking pretty good. We see a lot of big names return into the game. You know, like, I know Tim the Tatman's been coming back. He's been streaming a lot of Overwatch. There's a handful of others that have been at the forefront.
We got another week of this before Overwatch on Twitch is dead. Along with...
so? Like, one more
week?
Well,
along with Apex and Fortnite and every other game on Twitch is basically going to be dead come next Tuesday.
Yeah, and then Twitch is going to own all of our channels and start to stream stuff that shouldn't be shown on Twitch.
Well, like, I already know, like, I mean, you look at every top streamer, they're all going to be playing WoW Classic. Like, I know Shroud on his Twitch chat was like, they're aiming for Sunday, doing Molten Core. Good luck with that. Good luck. So it will be absolutely insane.
I bet they don't make it past the Core Hounds.
Well, like, what was it? Method is doing a 24/7 race to world first classic.
Okay.
So they're doing a 24/7 streams race from 1 to 60, and then the first 2 raids to complete both raids. I'm like, you guys are going to be on there for like 3 months, 24/7. Good luck with that one. Cheers to you. I'll be sitting back here at level 15, killing Bob. I'm just kidding. As long as I keep tempo with Bob, and I can kill him constantly, I'm content.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like, I gotta figure out, like, am I just going to start with the warrior right away? Because I don't want to jump too far ahead of everyone. I don't know. That's another thing to figure out at another time before the launch next week.
We don't go off subject, random tangents on the show.
Not. It's more on all off topic than this one. But anyways, you know, speaking of things that kind of went off topic, we had the game between Dallas Fuel and the Guangzhou Charge that hopped around so much that there was a game happening, and then the Watchpoint post-show happening, and then, like, re-aired video packages happening, and then we had, you know, the game returning, but then they had to restart the game, then we went back to Watchpoint. There was a lot of stuff going on in a span of, like, an hour and a half. But basically, on Sunday, the Overwatch League saw its lengthiest delay to date. And, you know, poor Dallas, man, it always happens to them. First they had the blackout during their homestand event, and then they have this happen. But you know what? At the end of the day, it just meant that we got to be graced by the presence of Mickey on stage that much longer. So much to the point that he was trolling Harry Hook after the fact about it, which was hilarious to me. So basically what ended up happening is initially, like, they reported it as a mouse issue with Unco. But I guess, like, they tried to restart the game, but the game client kept crashing. And it got to the point where, like, when this happened, there was only, like, less than a minute left on a Dallas attack. They weren't going to win. Like, they were already down 3-0. The Charge ended up getting the 4-0 when all was said and done. But it was a delay of over 45 minutes. And I know, like, initially, like, for the first 15 minutes, the game was trying to get restarted multiple times. That didn't happen. You had Wolf and Achilleos trying to stall as much as they can, which they did a pretty good job at that. And, you know, we saw Watchpoint post-show before the series had even wrapped up, which was kind of like... So that was a thing that happened. That's probably the only time we'll see that happen. But at the end of the day, like... I know people don't like to see this stuff happen, but at least they can go through a course correction in the future so they know what step they need to take first, rather than trying to restart the game when it kept crashing over and over again. So yes, you know, we had to restart the one side of the map, but in the end, there wasn't much on the line for either side. Dallas still ended up losing because they kind of crapped the bed in that specific match. But I know a lot of people were getting a little fed up with just the amount of overtalk and kind of like the lull period in between as they tried to resolve the issue at hand.
Yeah, and even Arrow came out, the Dallas coach came out and said, and like I'm hearing conflicting reports. Like Arrow flat out said it was not a mouse issue.
Mm-hmm.
He said basically Unco's character was bugged in game.
Yeah, I got like stuck.
And he couldn't use the hero. So one of the interesting things that came from this is they came to the conclusion that they were presented with the option of reloading the state of game using the OWL match time machine, whatever, since they lost 25 seconds and an ult trying to fix it. We agreed.
Is that like the hot tub time machine?
Yes. So basically, Sideshow was in a hot tub with the Dallas Fuel trying to come up with a decision on how to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's where all the leaks happened, remember
yeah,
that.
all the leaks happened in a hot tub with Sideshow. Creepy. But yeah, this was just weird. But I will tip my hat to the Overwatch League production staff because they were kind of put in an impossible situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not something we've ever dealt with. It wasn't a production issue. It was a game side issue, which is outside of like the people in the booth's control. And you know what? The person who was like, screw this, we're going to put the post show first. We're going to do all that. We're going to, we're going to do this stupid Hanzo matchup. We're going to show featurettes. Like, they did a good job of filling time throughout all of this. So good on them. So they get that plus mark, but then they get a minus mark for the Jinmu fiasco. Did you hear about that?
I did not know.
Okay, so Jinmu, I think it was Saturday.
Oh, was this when he like no-showed the Q&A?
Yeah,
okay.
The Overwatch League highlighted him like Q&A with Jinmu, on Overwatch League Command Center, and then Jinmu took a Uber home, and he gets asked like, "Where are you?" And he's like, "I'm home." And they're like, "You're supposed to do the post show." He's like, "Nobody told me." So they just couldn't interview Jinmu. I'm like, you guys get a little bit of a minus for that.
So what you're saying was the league office was on the hunt for Jinmu.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They were hunting pandas. Sad panda.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? Pausegate 2019 happened, and the Overwatch League did a good job. They just did. If they wouldn't have had Mickey, though, I don't think spirits would have been as high. Like, Mickey makes the league a better league.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he, like all likelihood, he's not with an Overwatch team next year. But man, they need to figure out a way to get him involved.
He needs to be like the league ambassador.
Not even that. What if Mickey did like post-game interviews?
I mean, we've seen him do that in like some of the Fuel stuff.
Yeah, like have Mickey be one of the post-game interview people so you can see him. Maybe not every week, but like every so often.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what languages Mickey actually speaks. That's
a good question. Well, I mean, we know he knows English.
He knows English, and I mean, he's not Korean. He's from Taiwan.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does he know Korean? Maybe. So I don't know. Should be interesting, but Mickey needs to stay in this league because he's the best personality in all of Overwatch League, and I don't care what anyone says. You cannot not smile whenever you see Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
He brightens the day of everyone around him. So, keep Mickey in the league. Hashtag Pausegate.
I mean, even in a 4-0, he was still in high spirits.
Well, he was on stage for the first time. That season.
Well, for an official match, yeah.
And an official match.
I mean, there was the
he was
OGE
on stage for the first time.
versus Mickey Doomfist battle, which ended up being a lot better. Which was actually, honestly, like, looking back at the 1v1s we had, that was probably the most entertaining one that we had. Which is really saying something.
Is it bad that I'm like, you know what? They need to stop these Bren 1v1s. Because they're just horrible. Like,
and here you were challenging him,
no,
thinking that would be better.
I'm still challenging Bren to a 1v1. But I don't feel that me and Bren 1v1 is Overwatch League worthy. So, get more, like, I liked the BQB Saya player McCree one.
Mm-hmm. That
was semi-interesting. The Tracer one, complete garbage. Never do that one again. I like, if it was an actual Hanzo one, I like Hanzo 1v1s. You know, Roadhog, I think Roadhog hooks, like a Roadhog battle, around the well, the Boop of Death, would be an interesting one. Stuff like that, but just stop it with the Bren stuff. Because if he plays any Overwatch League player in anything, he's gonna lose. That's why they had to do this cheeky, like, Hanzo with Nerf bows crap. Like, okay, you beat me at a Nerf gun battle. That means nothing. And I'm coming for you, Brent. I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
BlizzCon 2019. Ed vs. Brent. It's going down. It's going timber. You better move. You better run.
I was trying to see how far you were gonna go with that.
I don't know the rest of the words.
Well, there we go.
I
That's
probably do if the song was playing.
right.
But, like, I can't just rap Pitbull off the top of my head. It's not one of my go-to talents.
Okay.
If you give me Vanilla Ice, Crisscross, or who's the crazy white Canadian rapper who sings Informer? Informer. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom, boom, yeah. No? Snow. I think it's called Snow.
Snow?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, 90s white hip-hop artists.
I'm sorry, but the only good thing that Vanilla Ice did was the ninja rap.
The teenage, like,
Yeah.
go ninja, go ninja, go. Go ninja, go ninja. And,
Good times.
all right, weird thing. When you watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the movies in the 90s, did you not want to be part of Shredder's clan? Because those kids had the coolest
Had like a
layer
skate
ever.
park and all these arcade
like-
machines.
Like, hey, what
They
did
were
you
all
do after
gambling
school?
and smoking.
Yeah, like gambling, smoking, playing arcade games, skateboarding. I'm like, I want this life. Maybe I should be a bad guy. I know Ninja Turtles are not real, but this place is real. I could do all that. Ninja Turtles are fake. Shredder's got it going on. Continue.
Yeah, Shredder
Ednar
spoiling the
rant.
youth of America, one child at a time with the Foot Clan.
Oh, Foot Clan.
Well, you know what else got spoiled for us over the past weekend? You know, we also had that leaked Spitfire skin that actually was announced a couple days after we talked about it on our podcast last week. So lo and behold, the leak was legit. We do have the new pilot theme skin, Flying Ace, to commemorate the London Spitfire inaugural season championship win. And it will set you back 200 league tokens, similar to the Jonak MVP skin. And rather than covering what it looks like, we already kind of went through that during the leak phase of it this past week. It is worth noting that the skin will be available to purchase in-game starting August 29th. You'll be able to buy it until September 16th. So, I don't know about you, Ed, but, like, as soon as we saw this one, like, I thought this one was pretty damn good. I really love the, like, old-school British mustache that Winston has on this, and, you know, it's, 200 league tokens. I got plenty of league tokens stockpiled after, I completed all the Dynasty skins. I'm definitely gonna buy it as soon as it is made available, and it will probably be the only London skin I will use moving forward at this point, at least for Winston.
Almost started
You
talking
caught-
with the
you
mic.
caught it, and I was
almost
like-
did it. Almost did it. Is it like I'm gonna buy this instantaneously? Like I think I have 600 credits at this point. Yeah, 600. So like I have credits to spare. I haven't bought every Spark skin, but I don't think I'm going to buy every Spark skin. But this is an easy one. It's a super cool Winston one. Like, this is one that I was like, you know what? This is better than most of his legendary skins.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than that stupid Yeti one that he has. Like, the only Christmas skin that I'm like, whatever. This is pretty cool. And he has, like, a jetpack. He has a jetpack that is, actually usable because he actually goes in the air. So, Jetpack Monkey.
And sometimes you can uppercut him to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know what? This skin fits. But I wish the rumors were true that they had made... Well, the rumors were probably true that they made more skins.
Mm-hmm.
They just didn't make it into the game. Because I would have liked some more championship skins. Because, like, as weird as it sounds... when you see this Winston skin, you're thinking oh, this is Gesture. This is a skin for Gesture because of the Winston play. And Gesture was known for his Winston play. Now, it wasn't just Gesture. Where's the Bird Ring skin or Bidoshin? Or, you know what I mean? Like, it kind of takes the focus off the whole team and puts it on one person.
Well, do you feel like if they did that they would just bundle them all together for a specific price point? Or do you feel like they would kind of, like, release them at an individual price per item?
I would say you could release... Give me 5 special Spitfire skins for 1,000 tokens.
Your math adds up there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe they could do it 1,000 tokens or for $8.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it'd be cheaper to spend money on it to get those skins, like, from a token perspective. Because I think, 10 skins would be, or 1,000, whatever, credits would be at $10. I haven't bought them in a long time. But if you made it $8, so you got a little bit of a discount for paying actual cash, then maybe more people might spend money, and it's a way to generate income.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like that, but, like, when you think of this, you think of it as the Gesture skin. Like, that's the first thing that pops into my head. But, like,
right.
Gesture was good, but Fury was amazing. Prophet was Prophet. Bidoshin was Bidoshin. Like, you know, you had other players on this team that probably deserve skins as well. But I'll take it. Either way. So now we have we have a Sinatraa skin to look forward to next year, and then whoever wins. What if the Shock win it twice? Are they just going to be, or win the whole thing, and then Sinatraa wins the MVP? Are they just going to be like, well, we're just going to give you a Sinatraa Zarya skin and combine the two?
I would imagine they would do Sinatraa and Zarya, then they would give Super the other one, would be my guess. Since they're both technically in the MVP.
Maybe Rascal on Baptiste?
That's a possibility, too, because, like, even up until this point, we're still seeing him flex over to the support role. Now, granted, it's not happening as often as it was in the 3-3 meta, but we are seeing that happen as well. So, definitely something to keep an eye on, but go out, purchase it, starting August 29th. Get your commemorative Winston jetpack, or jet-fueled Winston skin, and supports, London Spitfire in that regard. But guys,
it's the Wizard of Oz skin.
Basically.
Flying monkeys.
Yeah.
Flying monkeys, Wizard of Oz.
And I don't know who would be Toto in this case. We don't have enough small animals.
I mean, freaking hamster.
But he's in a mech. I mean,
but it's a tiny hamster. Who would be? I mean, you could have Mercy as a Wicked Witch.
Well, we already have. Yeah, she has a witch skin. There's a Scarecrow already.
Yeah, there's a Scarecrow. Who would be the Lion?
Well, Reinhardt would be the Tin Man.
No, Hanzo has the skin with, like, the wolf skin.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you could turn that into a lion. Maybe. It's probably the closest we have. So you'd have Hanzo, you'd have Reinhardt as the Tin Man, Hamster, or, whatever. Hamster as Toto. Who would be... You're the main character, Dorothy. Tracer?
I mean, she is supposed to reroll.
Yeah, I'd say Tracer.
But see, now we're missing the good witch.
The good witch? Symmetra.
She's more like chaotic neutral, but then again, like, all the other female characters are...
Yeah, who else would you choose? Baguette? No. It'd be Symmetra.
Fair enough.
See, we just
cast the
Wizard of Oz in Overwatch.
Perfect.
The high quality content you come to Heroes Never Die for. Wizard of Oz meets Overwatch.
And top comedies that are quotable.
Top comedies that are quotable. Come at me. Top 3.
So outside of that, guys, we do have some update on contenders. And I know we kind of like gave you guys a rundown of what's been going on there, but we did have some more regions wrapping up their grand finals. We also had seed-in placement matches for North America. So for starters, contenders NA wrapped up, and it was Team Envy and ATL Academy leading the way with the championship wins. And we saw LGE Hua in China defeating Team CC to qualify for the Gauntlet to be China's sole representative there. Over in Europe, we saw HSL Esports defeat Team Giganti to advance to the Gauntlet. And, of course, we do have Korea that is currently ongoing. We are in the semifinals at this point. We had quarterfinal matches earlier today, Ed. And lo and behold, Runaway defeated Fusion University 3-0 to advance to the semifinals. So what does that mean? Well, it means that despite Fusion University guaranteeing themselves a spot, but then deciding to abandon NA in order to go to Korea, they are not advancing to the Gauntlet because they did not finish top 3.
Nope. Boo.
Feels bad, man. But in the other match, we also saw... So we got O2 Blast going up against Runaway for the semifinals, and then we also have Genji Esports going up against Element Mystic. And I know Element Mystic defeated GC Busan Wave 3-1 earlier today. And I don't know 100% sure if they're going to have like a third place match. I'm assuming they're going to have a seeded match similar to what we saw with NA. So both finalists for the Contenders Finals for Korea will advance to the Gauntlet. And then you'll have the 2 losers from the semifinals battle in for that third place spot. But I know they did the seed-in matches for the NA teams here a couple of days ago. So we saw ATL Academy going up against Team Envy to determine who would be the top seed, who would be the second seed. And it was ATL Academy coming out on top 4-1. And then in the other tiebreaker, we saw XL2 Academy secure the third seed over Gladiators Legion, and they took that one 4-1. So all the NA stuff situated. At this point, we are just waiting on Korea at this point, and then we are pretty much all set at that point. Now, I know, like, there's other, like, contenders going on. Like, I know Australia finals are coming up. They don't have a representative for the Gauntlet, so we don't really have to worry about that. Same with South America, even though I know that had wrapped up here a couple days ago as well, with Low-Key Esports picking up the win 4-3 over Fury. But, you know, it's kind of bittersweet for Fusion Uni, you know? It was a big gamble. Did not pay off. But, you know, I can't be too upset that they lost to Runaway. So hopefully we'll get Runaway to be top 3 for Korea so we can see them play on the grander stage.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, but we all knew that Fusion Uni had an uphill battle going to Korean contenders. Like, we wanted to see how they did against them, but man, they had an uphill battle.
Right.
From the get-go. I'm scared of O2 Blast. That team is really... Like, I haven't watched every matchup that's been going on out there. Because, well, I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to watch Korean contenders. It's not a thing. But I have seen some highlights, and that team is scary.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, the troublesome thing is, like, a large portion, like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but isn't a large portion of their team under 18?
Yeah.
So, like, we won't see them this next season in Overwatch.
Yeah, I know Kaiser and Yunbun, I know are both over 18. Outside of that, I'm not sure.
You know what this means, though?
That it's I the Kaiser?
Season 4, when we get a Chicago team, we can just poach all these 16, 17-year-olds that are in Korean contenders now and have them on the future Chicago team to pair with Sugar Free.
Yeah. We'll have Sugar Free and Sparkle as our DPS duo. It'll be fantastic.
Right? Like, we won't even be able to get into Chuck E. Cheese because they'll be too young. But again, you know what I mean? Like, this is a scary thing about Korean contenders is like we already have the best of the best Korean players, and they're 16, 17-year-olds are already better than the majority of the Eastern players we have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they just have a nonstop, and that's just it's kind of one of those things where it's just a nonstop like factory of Overwatch League players from Korean contenders. Like, if you want to see what's going to be happening in Season 3 in Overwatch, watch Korean contenders. That's all you have to do, because that's who you're going to see. And they're just so much better. Like, O2 Blast is going to be so good. Now, I say this now and they miss the gauntlet. Like, they lose their next 2 games and they're out. But, I mean, not just O2 Blast. Like, Runaway is also a very young team.
Yeah, and I know Runaway, too, was even looking at fielding a Tier 3 team as well, as an academy. They labeled it Runaway Academy. It would not be an affiliate team, but it would be someone competing at a lower level to potentially, like, promote to their main roster.
And that could honestly be their reasoning for staying in Korea. Because if you remember, when they came out with the rules, they said that you had to be like you had to be in the region you're in, unless you showed a good enough support system to stay in that country. Well, what's better support system than having a Tier 3 team in Korea? So you have 2 teams in Korea.
How bittersweet would it be if, like, Seoul just decides to, like, disassociate themselves with Genji and then sign a Runaway? Like, that would be, like, the weirdest turnaround, seeing, like, Lunatic High pick up Runaway.
Yeah.
Like the 2 internet darlings.
Yeah. Like, the one thing that we need, not transparency on, is I think it needs to be more readily available of who's eligible for signing in the Overwatch League. Because if you think about it, like, by the age of 20, the majority of people are already too old for the Overwatch League. Like, you don't want to put it that way. By 2021, you're an old person. You're an old man. So, like, we need to know when these 17-year-olds are eligible to sign with the Overwatch League without, like, having charts up and whatnot. Like, Alarm turned 18, like, a week too late and couldn't compete. But, like, we don't know this until after the fact. Like,
yeah, not everything is displayed on Liquipedia either.
Exactly. And it's also Liquipedia. It's the Wikipedia of Overwatch content. Like, you can't fully trust the stuff on Liquipedia because it usually comes from the source.
I believe everything I read on the internet.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I hate to break it to you. People lie on the internet. That smoking a hot 22-year-old blonde bombshell you're talking to on Tinder, probably not that.
Guess it's Ed.
I'm not saying I catfish people on the side, but I'm not saying I don't. But you know what I mean? Like, this is something we've preached forever, is we just need more transparency. And this is one of those things where, we want to know when these people are eligible to play. Like, Sugar Free could be a very marketable person. Like, people love him. People love his dad. Like, Sugar Dad. Like, they brought him on camera as Sugar Dad during, Contenders playoffs. Like, people want to know more about him, but people also want to know when he's going to be eligible for the Overwatch League. So it's a tricky situation, but there needs to be more transparency, and it needs to start with Korean content, because that's where the majority of this kind of stuff comes up.
Yeah, they need to stop trying to fool us. Just kind of like how we've been waiting patiently for a certain announcement to happen that we knew was already in the works. We knew pen was the paper already because, there was kind of merchandise leaked, and that was Vancouver Titans and Tizzy. So after all of this time, after going for like what felt like 2 months already at this point, the Titans have officially announced the sign-in of Tizzy. So Tizzy is going to reunite with his former Runaway squad where he had played alongside Bumper, Haxel, Janu, and Stitch. He ended up splitting with Runaway back in 2018 when he was offered a spot to join the London Spitfire for the inaugural season, but unfortunately, Tizzy never took the stage for the Spitfire before he ended up getting released back in June of that season. Now, since then, I know he's been kind of like hopping around on different teams in contenders, specifically North America, in 2 of the 3 instances. So he had gone from Excel to Academy, to Guangzhou Academy, who kind of shat the bed. That was the team that got relegated. And then most recently, he was on Grunto Esports, where he played 2 matches, and then he got signed at that point. But it wasn't officially announced until this past week, so again, this is another case where everyone needs to act surprised. Like, it's not like we didn't know about this for 2 months because of Fnatic's gaffe. And I know, like, I'm pretty sure one of the Grunto Esports staff members actually said, like, yeah, he's going to Vancouver, or to the Titans. And then, lo and behold, a couple months later, we finally have the sign-in, and, I'm really curious to see whether or not we're going to see Tizzy play this stage. Maybe he's been grinding Sigma, maybe he hasn't. But it is worth noting, Bumper has had some issues this stage, primarily when it comes to the Orisa cooldown management, so there is potential here that we might see a substitution at some point, whether it is a primary sub where we see Tizzy get a bulk of the play, or maybe he'll become a map specialist, but, having the option is always good, and it helps strengthen this team ahead of their biggest matches of the season.
Yeah, and like, if correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Tizzy most well known for his Winston play? His best main tank is Winston.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just unfortunate timing, and it could have been due to visa issues. Is Bumper is not, before stage 4, Bumper's Winston was not, let's call it, not that good, but he has shown a lot of progress as a Winston player in stage 4. The small amount of times he's played it. Not Orisa, not so much, but he has shown some, growth as Winston. So, like, if Tizzy was around week 1 of stage 4, when we actually found out about this, maybe Tizzy would have gotten some more playtime as, like, a Winston player and subbed in and gotten some actual stage time, synergy, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's too late.
To make a move.
Now, yeah, to make the move to be like, okay, we're going to throw in Bumper, take out Bumper for, Tizzy's Reinhardt or Orisa player, whatever. The only chance I say he has to play is Sigma. At this point, if he has been grinding Sigma, then who knows? What was it at Plat Chat? They said hydration was like the number 1 on the ladder, the number 1 Sigma player in the world.
Yeah, that was brought up in our Discord earlier, and my biggest question was, is he doing that because he wants to play Sigma, or because the DPS queue time is way too long? That's a legitimate question.
I mean, like, we just don't know, but, like, maybe we do see hydration on Sigma.
He's played tank for the Gladiators this stage,
specific maps. You might see, and this is something we just, like, as casual plebs, we just don't know right now what tank duos with the new meta work best on each individual map.
Right, and it's not just that, but you also don't want to read too much into what players are playing on the ladder, because not all the players are going to be playing their primary roles, because they're already playing that all the time.
Yeah, if you're practicing on a role for 10 hours, the last thing you want to do is play that character. for Street.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you were like Muma, God bless Muma, because he actually plays tank heroes when he plays, like, every time. If I was Muma, I'd come on stream and be like, the last thing I'm gonna do is play tank.
He's gonna symmetrical trick.
Like, I played
against all the
10,
Orisa
11
Sigma.
hours. Yeah. Like, I played 10, 11 hours of tank already today. Give me DPS or support. Anything but tank. But no, he comes in and plays tank every single time. So, Tizzy, it's a great pickup for them. Like, Tizzy, to me, comes in as one of the top backup main tanks in the league. But it's just a matter of if we'll actually see him. We may never see him. Unless Vancouver starts to go the role that the Seoul Dynasty did before Fissure retired, and get those 2 full teams, which is something that I've been a proponent of for every team. I think every team should field 12 players the entire time.
And then
It's just smart.
then you're gonna get agitated about, okay, who do I actually start on my fantasy team?
Well, you know what? That just takes a little bit of skill.
A little bit of finesse.
Yes.
And you know what? We did actually see some changes in regards to general manager positions this past week. So we saw Florida Mayhem make a move, as well as the Washington Justice. So first up with the Justice, they have turned to the LA Gladiators for their new general manager, and they have picked up their community manager at current Team USA GM, Annalyn Dane, aka Baolin. So she is going to be coming in with the role of GM starting in the 2020 season. So Annalyn's sign-in comes following the retirement of former GM Kate Mitchell. She had retired back in May at the end of the stage. And the team has basically been operating without a permanent replacement since then. Now, I know with the Gladiators, Annalyn primarily focus on the social media aspect, and I'm sure everyone, like, even if you don't follow the league super closely and you're just a casual fan, you probably see a lot of the Gladiator shade and trolliness, which is always, like, a highlight for, like, the social media with the Overwatch League. And, you know, that kind of, like, helped her secure the spot as a community lead last year for Team USA. And now, of course, she's the GM for Team USA, which, by the way, we're still waiting on their finalized roster. They're the only team that is ranked in the top 10 right now that has not released their 7-man roster.
I saw, like, somebody release, Game House or whatever, released, like, their top 20 World Cup rosters, and I'm like, Team USA hasn't even announced their roster.
I don't know how far they got, but I know initially they did, like, 40th through, I can't remember.
Yeah, they did top 40. And I'm just like, you realize not all the teams are announced, right? Like, this seems like something you should wait for. And by the way, you pronounce it Ballin. How do you pronounce it? Is it Ballin?
I would imagine so.
Okay, because every time I hear this name, I think of a song, and it's not how the song actually goes, but it's like, they see me ballin', they hatin', and I'm just like, yep, nope, I want that person as my GM.
Well, you know what, Ed? You are white and nerdy.
Good. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things where, like, this is a great hire, because a lot of times GMs have the title of GM, but they may not have the power that some people think with the GM.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times GMs are, and goes in a lot of sports. Like, this is not just Overwatch League. This is in a lot of actual sports, like NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball. They're more of the face of the team. Like, they're the one going out there speaking for the team and someone like that. And while Ballin will be part of the decision-making process, just like any other team, I don't think she will be the sole decision maker. And I don't think any GM in the Overwatch League is the sole decision maker. But you couldn't have picked a better spokesperson to come out there, because Ballin is one of the most beloved people in the Overwatch League.
Do the Dynasty make so many weird substitutions that you don't feel like they have a sole person making those decisions?
Oh, I see what you did there. That was a good one. I applaud that one. But you know what I mean? Like, as much as, you know what, like, Ballin, great pickup. I still hate you. Because of for one simple thing. The whole, I forgot the exact wording of it, but when they teased that they got rid of Shaxx and Big Goose.
Oh, yeah, the Finnish duo one.
Yeah, we have released the Finnish duo. We're no longer the Finnish duo.
Yeah, the heart attack heard around the world.
Like the hell you say? I hate
now
you
we're
right
a
now.
Finnish trio.
Like, you just became one of my favorites to you are the stupidest team in the league, and I hated them.
Yeah, that's when Ballin
She made
became
me hate the Gladiators.
public enemy number one.
Yeah, but it was great trolling.
Mm-hmm.
It was great internet trolling. I think she will do great in Washington, because now the Justice are the new Shanghai Dragons. They are the new lovable losers who can do good next season.
Well,
and she will be the...
I don't know if I'll go that far, just because they did finish with more wins than some other teams that really struggled.
But they were the lovable losers for the majority of the season.
Yeah.
And going into season 3, they will still have that moniker. They had one good stage, but everyone loves them. They're fun to watch, and she'll be the face of that team. So this is a good signing for them. Because Kate Mitchell was super popular. Mm-hmm. As controversial and as divided as some people may be on her, with regards to all the reports coming around about the salaries and whatnot, she was a fan favorite for that team. Now they got somebody who's more of a fan favorite. The only bigger signing they could have made is if they signed Susie Kim to be their GM. That's the only bigger signing they could have made. Because if you're a team right now, you throw a buttload of money at Susie Kim to come be the GM of your team. That's my opinion. But
so we also have to take a look at Florida, who had parted ways with their general manager, who is Matt Akavon? I don't know how to pronounce his last name, to be honest. But he was...
Not gonna work here anymore. Office Space, another very quotable movie.
Yeah. But he was with the company for 3+ years. And this was, dating back to Misfit. And of course, with the Mayhem this season, they saw a number of changes, both with, staff, a lot of the players, because they went from kind of like that Misfits roster to mostly Korean roster at this point. Well, now it's 100% Korean, but that's kind of besides the point. But the Mayhem have not revealed whether or not another staff member is going to take over in regards to that role. I know they still have Bare Hands and acting as the assistant GMs. And it's worth noting, Florida, their season is over. They wrapped up their season this past week, and they finished with a record of 6-22. So the Mayhem this year, they failed to match their total wins compared to the inaugural season, despite the inaugural season being a little bit lengthier. And while it was a pretty rocky season for the Mayhem, I will say, they ended on a fairly high note. So in the last week, they picked up 2 wins in the same week, which they had never done. And on top of that, Ed, both of their wins were sweeps. Which were also first for them. So, what better way to cap off your season? You actually accomplished something.
First off, I will say this. Their GM was mad, not gonna work here anymore. and nobody knew who the hell that was. This is another thing that goes back to Ballin, is the face of that team was Man Bear Pig. I will forever call Bare Hands Man Bear Pig, just because whenever I hear bear in a name, I think Man Bear Pig. So Man Bear Pig was the face of the team, and he probably will end up being the GM, which is not a bad move, showing how much, like, he told us since what, in between stage 2 and 3, that the team is changing and you'll be surprised at how things are going. And stage 3 did nothing, but we were still getting new players. And then stage 4 comes around, and what is this? Like, they have the worst record in the league for the season, but they're ending the season as a top 10 team. Like, nobody saw that coming, and Man Bear Pig was right. Like, he flat out called it, and none of us believed him, and he was able to see that. So, you know what? Good on him. I hope he gets made GM. But the Florida Mayhem are a team where I don't think they're going to do much. I think they're pretty much set. They made all their changes. They did all that, and they played so well. And having 2 4-0s this week is huge. Now, granted, it was against the 2 worst teams, 2 of the 3 worst teams in the league.
But you know what? When you were down in that mud that entire time with those teams, you were going to take those wins.
Now, I will say this, which might lead into our next topic, is, you know what? Mayhem, you get all the credit in the world for turning around and getting a viable roster for Stage 4. You do not get any form of credit for having your homestands in 2 different cities in the state of Florida that are legit 5 hours apart.
I mean, I'm not even surprised by that, because they were talking about Miami even dating back to the inaugural season.
Yeah, it's Miami, Orlando. It's basically like saying New York is going to split between New York City and Buffalo as their homestands.
Well, I mean, is that any worse than having like 3 or 4 different venues like some of the other teams?
I mean, a little bit. Like, because a lot of the other teams may have a couple venues, but they're all fairly close to each other. They're not 5 hours apart. You can't get repeat business. You can't build a player base truly or a fan base when you're that far apart from each other. Like, you may get a few, like, diehard Florida Mayhem fans from Miami that may drive up to Orlando for the weekend. But you're not going to get that the majority of the time, and vice versa. You're not going to get the majority of their land. They need to pick a city and make it their home city.
Right.
And I think this season 3 is going to determine which will be their home city. Whichever one, not going to lie, Orlando, Miami, whichever one of you turns out the best is going to be the home city for the Florida Mayhem.
Like, if we're talking venues, like, I can't remember. Like, I know the Orlando one is Full Sail, where they tape NXT. Like, I would prefer that, because I feel like you'd get a better turnout there, and like Orlando's already one of the bigger like tourist locations anyway, so you have more of an opportunity to pull people in. Yeah, it's just I don't know where in Orlando it's gonna be.
Like, is it going to be on the outskirts of Orlando? Is it going to be closer to Disney World? Like, I haven't looked this up. I still think that their go-to place is at Disney World. Downtown Disney at the ESPN Center. I don't get how this is not a thing. Like, you partnered with ESPN. They have a place down there that is empty the majority of the time. You can pull in all sorts of tourists, so you will be sold out every single time. And you're at Disney World. People are gonna want to come to you. You should just @ them on Twitter. Man Bear Pig, we need to have a talk. And this is something that when I go to BlizzCon, I feel I'm going to run into him, and I will actually bring this up to him. This is one of those things where I'm just like,
we there has to be a reason. Down. and have a talk.
We do. Be like, okay, bare hands. In that instance, I would call him bare hands. Unless I have lots of whiskey.
Unless I'm there and I'd be like, who? You mean Man Bear Pig?
Man Bear Pig. Why are you not using Disney? And there could be a very viable reason, but I don't care. They need to do it. Because I love Disney and I love Overwatch League, and I want to combine the two. I want to go to dinner in Cinderella's Castle one night and the Overwatch League event the next night. Judge me away.
So, with that being said, we did get the full schedule for the 2020 season. And if you guys want to find an easier way to kind of look at how everything is going down, I did go through and kind of color-coded, put start times for different time zones. I did the first half of the season. I'll link it in the Twitch chat really quick. But, you know, they sent out, like, the PDF file with, like, the full season schedule. And right off the bat, the first thing I noticed is, okay, all of the start times are local. So local to the home market. I was like, this does not help me. I was like, yeah, this is great, but it's very misleading because it's just like, I know it's not going to be local to me. So then you have to go back and kind of like do all the math in your head, and doing all that math early in the morning was not the best thing to do, but we got a couple of dates that are worth noting. So for starters, just as a reminder, the 2020 season will see the global expansion of the Overwatch League, so we'll have home and away games. We'll have 52 homestand events throughout the season. So Season 3 is going to kick off on February 8th, and will end on August 9th. And tickets will be going on sale for the North America and Europe market starting on August 28th. And then the tickets for China and Korea will be going on sale at a later date, which is yet to be determined. Now, while not all of the teams have announced their venues, you can find a listing of all the homestand events on the schedule. And just as a reminder, we have a couple of teams that are hosting 5 events next season, so that would include Dallas, Guangzhou, and Washington. But like a couple notable things in regards to venues, like I know Vancouver will be playing in the Canucks home stadium, so they'll be at the Rogers Arena, where they kind of like did their, franchise reveal. I know New York is actually going to be in the old ECW stomping grounds in the Hammerstein Ballroom, so there's a little bit of nostalgia there, so I might go check that out just because it's pretty historic of a venue. But if you check out the spreadsheet, everything's color-coded based on the division and all of that fun stuff. But we got our first look at the schedule, and, there are some weeks that only have, 3 games per day. Some of them have 5 a day, but these games are all happening on Saturday and Sunday. We'll have simultaneous events going on, and I'm really curious to see what the turnouts are going to be next year, and just how crazy that whole Pacific is going to be when we see the Guangzhou stadiums, because anytime we see some of the Pacific team watch parties, they pull absolutely massive crowds, and I want to see what the turnout is going to be on that side, knowing that they're going to spend a good amount of time there with Guangzhou hosting 5 different events this year.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that. Honestly, the one that I'm kind of jealous of is DC. So I kind of looked up all the event places that are listed,
mm-hmm.
and DC has some of the coolest places. So they have the Anthem in DC, which is rather large, but it's also a few blocks from the Capitol, which I find hilarious. That they are ranting and raving about video games causing, mass murders and whatnot, and then we're like, yeah, we're gonna hold professional events 3 blocks from the Capitol building. And then they are also going to be going to the, you need to work on the name, but it's the DC Entertainment and Sports Arena. That is a really crappy name.
Don't you know that's where you go to see entertainment and sports ed.
Yes. But I will say this, it seats a lot of people. Like, it's a 5,000 person arena.
That's okay. So that's a little misleading because in the esports traditionally you're not using the full arena.
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but it's, it's also like a professional arena.
Mm-hmm.
Like, its main use is for the WNBA. And like, it's one of those things where this place was built with esports in mind when they first built it. Like, I remember when they first built this, one of the selling points was it was going to be for esports and for the WNBA team.
Right.
And they just have a shit name. And it's one of those things where, you know what, this could really show off DC. So Spider's lucky that he lives close and he can go to these, but the ones in China are going to be insane. Like, if the watch parties are any indication, you're going to have really good size arenas to fit people. Like, look at the Hanzo Spark watch parties.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds upon hundreds of people come in to sit in folding chairs and watch them play on like a big screen TV, a flat screen projector TV. Imagine them live. You're gonna get massive crowds, just like in Korea. So it's gonna be interesting. Now, we won't be watching these live because, well, they're at like 3 a.m. But it will be interesting to see how the crowds react, because it could be massive over.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just need, some of these teams need to focus on one arena and build it from there. Don't keep moving around, because just from a production point of view, that's just stupid. Like, to constantly, like, okay, we're going to be in this arena this week, this arena next week, and so on and so forth. And then also, what do they do with the Blizzard Arena? Like, because it's not on the schedule to have any matches.
Right.
Is the Blizzard Arena basically dead to them?
Unless, like, the Gladiators take it. Like, that's a possibility.
I mean, they could take it, but, like, I have a sneaking suspicion that they're trying to find something else.
Mm-hmm.
But who really knows? Because who knows? They may have them go out to different ones while CS:GO is getting off the ground, and may do the inaugural season of CS:GO.
Oh, you mean
Call of Duty. They may do their original, like the first season of Call of Duty, kind of like the Overwatch, where they all play in LA, and then they use the Blizzard Arena for that.
Yeah, I can see that. And I know, like, 2 of the other Overwatch League owners also bought into that league as well, to bring new teams to Call of Duty. I know Kroenke was one of the investors. I don't know who the other one was off the top of my head. But, again, they're, like, attracting the Overwatch League owners kind of, like, have first dibs, so to speak, for that. So it's definitely a possibility moving forward. But it's worth noting, like, there's a couple of days on the schedule too that, like, don't have a host set as of yet, so we'll have to, like, kind of go back and see when that's added. So, like, because there is no host, we also don't have, like, the start times for those select dates as well. But, you know, I don't know, like, what my travel plans will be for next year for, like, the Overwatch League. Obviously, like, Midwest is still kind of SOL on that front. So it could just boil down to if I just want to, like, check out the East Coast, or, you know, fly out to LA.
What's going to be the easiest flight to take, type of thing. Like, for me, honestly, the most likely thing for me is the games in Disney World. If I was to make a vacation, if I was to make a vacation out of it, I'd do Orlando. So then I could do Harry Potter World, Disney World, all that fun stuff, and do one big trip. But yeah, in the Midwest, we're SOL. Nobody wants to actually go to Texas.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, nobody wants, like, Texas. All right, I'm sorry, Texas people.
If I'm going to Texas, It's gonna be for barbecue and not Overwatch.
And here's the thing: is like Texas. So this is mainly like it's from February to August. So February, March, April, sure, I can maybe handle Texas.
Mm-hmm.
But anything after that, Texas is unbearable. Because you have the heat and you have the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, you suck at life down there in Texas during those summer months. Like that's it is oppressive, as they call it. I don't want to be going on vacation to somewhere that's oppressive. I'll go to Florida, or I'll go to New York, or Boston, or LA, or something like that. I will not go to Dallas or Houston. And I'm pretty sure I offended somebody with that, and I don't care.
I mean, that does not fit your MO at all.
No, I don't offend people at all.
Ah.
No. I will not go to Toronto. I might go to Vancouver. That could be fun.
I've been to Toronto.
It's Canada Light.
Basically, yeah.
Like, Toronto is the least Canadian city out there. Let's be real.
I will say, like, I checked out, like, their Chinatown in Toronto, which was actually a pretty good Chinatown. But outside of that, I honestly don't remember anything about the city.
Like, I remember my first trip to Toronto was when I was in D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
and we all wanted to gamble legally because we weren't 21 yet. So we drove across the border to Toronto to gamble. That's I'm like, you know what? No, this is not a Canadian city. Vancouver feels Canadian to me. Toronto is south of where I live. Okay?
Right.
I would travel south to go to Toronto, Canada. That's not Canada.
Yeah, you travel south to go north.
Yes. Not Canada. No. So I would go to Vancouver before I go to Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about some of the games that we saw in Stage 4, Week 4. So for starters, the Justice, they were coming in, looking to cap off their perfect stage. That did not happen, as Atlanta Reign had something else to say about that. So the Justice saw their hopes of that perfect stage dashed by the Atlanta Reign after they suffered a 2-1 defeat, which was 100% my favorite game of the week. That was the closest one that we saw this past week. And a lot of the players had some pop-off moments. We talked yesterday about SansSim's performance in Fantasy. He popped off. He averaged, 195 points between the two games, which is absolutely ridiculous for an off-tank. Let alone a player on Washington, for that matter. But his Roadhog had a strong stand-up performance. Ursa was popping off. Corey looked pretty good. And, really, you couldn't really ask for too much more from this one. So Atlanta, they shied away from going into a sniper duel with Corey. They're like, yeah, we're not doing that. We're going to counter that by running something with more point presence to force Corey off of that role. So they didn't try to go into that game because they knew that would be a losing front for them. And things kind of fell apart for Washington on Junkertown. I know Dogman ended up getting behind the Justice, which peeled two of their members away. And then Atlanta just kind of got the cleanup to close out the series. But all in all, Atlanta, they came out swinging. They have put themselves in a position because they have a shot at getting the top 6. To just completely skip the play-in tournament, because not only did they beat the Justice, who came in as the hottest team in the league, but they also 100% crushed the London Spitfire in what was a very demoralizing loss. So the Spitfire, man, for one, they ended that series with a classic C9. I can't think of anything more London than that. But man, every time I see London trying to play the meta, it's a rough go. Reign held them to 0 objectives through the first 3 maps in that series. And, the Spitfire did get 2 points on Havana, Unana. So there was that, but, that was it. They are in dire straits right now, and they're not the only playoff team that are coming into the playoffs as teams that are almost kind of like folded at this point, because like you can say New York is in that position, Shanghai is in that position right now. There are teams limping into the playoffs, and then other teams that are kind of like riding the wave of momentum. So it's going to be a very polarizing play-in and even not stage playoffs, but season playoffs, just knowing the trajectory of half of these teams right now at this point.
I just want to say something about Atlanta is I 100% expect Atlanta to be in the top 6. For the simple fact of they just need to win 2 games against the Dallas Fuel and the Boston Uprising.
Yeah, I do quickly want to note that Seffi basically said, like, Atlanta this week has only been scrimming on the current patch for the playoffs.
Yep.
So that is worth noting. So they're getting ready for the playoffs. So we'll see if that comes into play. But yes, they are facing 2 of the weaker teams this week. So they got to win both to get the top 6. But, you know, with the way that Dallas has been playing and the way Boston has looked, very doable even without a ton of scrim time on the current Overwatch League patch.
Yeah, and like let's be real, like Atlanta actually has a shot to be the number 5 seed. Like they actually do. They have to win, I think, both. Again, quick basic math. Atlanta has to basically go 4. And the Gladiators have to lose to the Valiant.
Which could happen.
All of that is not out. I mean, Atlanta 4-0ing Dallas and Boston, not unheard of.
I'm going to see if I can find Yiska's article with the probability of that happening while you talk.
Now, the important thing with that is a number 5 seed, you play, and this, I'd have to look at the playoffs. You have a better way at the championships of progressing. So, you know, I would think Atlanta's really pushing hard for this. Because so LA Gladiators have a 2-game lead on them, and if they lose, they're 16-12, and if Atlanta wins both games, they're 16-12.
Right.
And they're only a 4-map differential. So really, they could the Reign could go 4-0, 3-1, and still take over the 5th spot if the Gladiators lose. So it's not out of the possibilities for them to go up. From a fantasy perspective, you should be starting all Atlanta Reign players and all Valiant players. But I'm glad there's still some intrigue going into this week. Like, outside of just, well, the Valiant just have to win 1 game. Like,
yeah, I mean,
and that's the only thing that, like, really, it's Atlanta and the Valiant are the only 2 storylines coming into this week.
Right, it's just a matter of who places where. Like, which isn't, like, that interesting, but, you know, you have a team looking to get in the top 6, and then a team looking to fight their way to top 12. So if, like, the Valiant pick up a win, then the Hunters are out. If Valiant go 0-2, then the Hunters are in.
All right, I'm going to ask something crazy and out there. I know you're like, I don't know where Ed is going with this.
42.
What do you think of an Overwatch League draft? Where any new players coming in have to be drafted.
Are we talking about the current model or future with expansion teams?
Future with expansion teams. Because it'd be impossible now, because you have all these contenders teams and so on and so forth. it would be one of those things where the actual teams wouldn't be allowed to have players on their contenders teams they didn't draft.
Right.
They could still have them, but they couldn't play them unless they drafted them. Now, if players were not drafted, they could sign with any non-affiliated team, because otherwise you'd lose contenders altogether. But you could have the draft, which would encourage teams like at the bottom, give them like, instead of alarm being like, okay, I'm gonna go to this team and continue this domination, kind of like what we saw from Fusion Uni when they were in NA, like just domination. You give some of these worst teams a shot at getting some of the best new players coming in. And then you wouldn't have these, okay, we're an entire team that wants to stay together. I don't hate the idea that it would need a lot of work.
Yeah,
but I don't hate the idea.
It also leads into the discussion of, well, then when you get towards the end of the season, if you're near the bottom, you just don't put forth the best effort in order to secure, like, that top draft spot.
That happens in literally
Right.
every league. Across, like, if you think of every traditional sports league, every single one of them has a draft.
Right.
Why is Overwatch League any different?
Well,
Like, I get that
that would
we
also
have
be a
contenders,
first step in esports, too, for that model.
which is not the worst way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Why not be the first and kind of set the precedence? They did that with the Overwatch League did that with having the GeoCities,
Right.
like around the world. Why not set up a draft?
Yeah, and they talked, like, early on about, like, doing a whole combine thing, which never got off the ground. But, like, I feel like a draft would just be something that they talk about, but then it just kind of falls on the wayside. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the direction that they take. I'm not for it and I'm not against it, but it's just, like, I
It
don't
would
want them
add-
to do something just to be the first to do it. Like, they would need to have a good system in place in order
Well,
to move forward.
It would put like the other thing would be to an added bonus to this. It would add to the focus of the Overwatch League in the off season. It would give something people like a chance to look forward to, kind of like the NFL draft or the baseball draft or the basketball draft. It's something in the off season that kind of keeps you interested and engaged in
Right.
the Overwatch League. And a draft would kind of be the perfect solution to that. And I'm not saying you have to draft like 40, 50 people. Have a 2-round draft where each team can pick 2 players.
Another thing to bring up. Overwatch League has a roster size capacity of up to 12. What do you do in the instance that multiple teams are already at the cap?
That's easy. Look at Major League Baseball. Every team has a farm team. Every team in the Overwatch League has a contenders team. You can draft them.
Well, not every
and
team
put-
has a contenders team.
This could be a way to force every team to have a contenders team. And then you could draft people and put them on the contenders team if you don't have a spot, or if you want to build them up into, like, you know, a player they could be. Like, they could just draft them and throw them in the minor leagues until they're ready. See?
I can see that. But, you know, there's been rumors about that stuff happening, but then, like, nothing's been official about all teams needing to have an academy team. But yeah, I could see them doing it that way.
Another thing to talk to somebody about at BlizzCon.
Just gotta hunt down the right people.
Gonna totally do that sober too.
Ha!
I could be the Mel Kiper of the Overwatch League. I could get the I couldn't get the haircut. I'm bald.
Well, I'm glad you came to that realization so quickly.
No. I'm sorry. I'm not bald. I just shaved my head as preventative maintenance. that count?
Sure.
No? Sure. We'll go with preventative maintenance.
But anyways, so this week, guys, of course, this is the last week of the regular season. We have games on Saturday and Sunday. It's also the Kit Kat rivalry week.
Give me a break. Give me a break. Take me a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Yep.
There's been a lot of singing in this episode.
Or just don't, and then hog all the chocolate. I mean, I know plenty of people that have done that because they're not your friends.
Yeah, if you have a friend who does not share Kit Kat with you, they're not your friend.
Yeah.
They are a horrible human being.
Basically. And if they do, like, they give you, like, one, and then they're like, no, dog.
No, or they pretend that they screwed up breaking it off, so they only broke off, like, half of one side, and they're like, here's half of one side of a Kit Kat. And be like, you know what? Screw you and your half a Kit Kat. I don't want it. This is a horrible peace offering.
And then you gut punch them, and then it falls out of their hand, and then you get the whole thing.
Yeah.
Don't do that, guys. That's assault.
I'm not condoning it, but
you're also not condoning it. Uh-huh. You know, they say violence is always the answer.
I don't disagree.
But anyway, so on Saturday, we have the Atlanta Reign going up against the Dallas Fuel. We have Boston Uprising up against the New York Excelsior. We got Shock versus Titans, and then we had the Battle of LA as the Gladiators take on the Valiant. Then going into Sunday, we got a Pacific Showdown of the Hangzhou Spark versus the Shanghai Dragons. Up next, we have Atlanta Reign versus Boston Uprising, New York Excelsior versus the Vancouver Titans, and then we end the regular season with the San Francisco Shock going up against the LA Valiant. So again, what's on the line this week? So for the playoff picture, that final play-in spot is between the Chengdu Hunters and the LA Valiant. Valiant need to pick up a win between the Gladiators or the Shock in order to get that 12th seed. So in regards to impacts on the playoff seeding, we have the Titans locked in as the number 1 seed, and NYXL have the 2nd seed, based on the fact that they're the best in their division. And then you have the Shock secure in their 3rd spot. You have the Spark and the Gladiators locked in for the top 6. So that's going to be determined on seeding-wise, like how the Reign do. And then Reign and the Spitfire are looking to secure that last slot in the top 6. So you have a lot of teams locked into the top 12 right now. So, you know, you have Dynasty, Fusion, Charge, Dragons, with the Spitfire and the Reign both vying for the top 6. But primarily, the games to watch this week are the Valiant games, because those are the most important, because that's going to determine who's going to round out the top 12. And, you know, we talk about, like, how Overwatch is an anime and how, like, the script is just pretty good, but, you know, we have the Valiant who started 0-7. And they have a shot at making the playoffs the final days of the regular season. Like, who would have thought that after an 0-7 stage, someone would be in the discussion for the playoffs in such a shortened season compared to the inaugural season? It's a crazy turnaround, and with the way that the Valiant have been playing, you know, they have pretty good odds, but it's not going to be an easy road. Like, maybe the Gladiators will have another off day with the DPS, and the Valiant will make their way in, but if it comes down between the Shock match against the Valiant, then things get pretty dicey, so it's going to be an interesting week.
Yeah, it will be, because, like, you're going to be doing a lot of, like... I mean, the big ones, like you said, are the Valiant and the Reign. They're the ones competing for drastic changes in their placements. Mm-hmm. But then there's also the minor ones. Like, all right, let's say the Valiant beat the Gladiators. Well, what about the Shock game? The Shock game, they would want to win that one as well, because, let me just double check this. Like, they want the Dragons to lose and for them to win on Sunday. So the Dragons would lose to the Spark, the Valiant would beat the Shock, which would put them at the number 11 seed instead of the 12 seed. And the reason that is important is, well, the 12th seed plays the Guangzhou Charge in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of the 11th seed, which plays the Philadelphia Fusion, which is obviously an easier matchup.
Yeah, that's one team that is very anti-clutch, and another team that is kind of firing. I don't want to say on all cylinders, but Guangzhou is definitely a team that has probably the biggest upscale in regards to upset potential.
Exactly, and you want to be the 7th seed. So the Atlanta Reign or the Spitfire, whoever the 7th seed is, they're still not in a bad situation. Mm-hmm. That's another thing you have to think about it. The 7th seed, and this is getting very technical, whatever, but the 7th seed would face either the 10th, 11th, or 12th seed. Okay, so they would either face the Fusion, the Dragons, the Hunters, or the Valiant. Whoever wins that game would go face New York Excelsior instead of the Vancouver Titans. And the New York Excelsior are definitely a weaker team at this point. There's a lot of single-digit spots that can be fluctuated on Sunday that really will screw with the seeding. The people are in there, but it's a matter of who's got the easier matchups. Because, I guarantee you, in the first round of the actual playoffs, they all want to face New York Excelsior over the Vancouver Titans. They just do, because New York sucks.
Yeah, New York has been more susceptible to the meta.
Yeah, and Vancouver, I feel, is sandbagging, and even their sandbagging is not that bad. Compared to New York. So, people want to try and maneuver themselves. So, Sunday could be an interesting day as far as jockeying for position. Mm-hmm. So, it will be an interesting weekend, or it could be the most ridiculously boring weekend where nothing changes. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think there's a middle ground in there. So, the best case scenario is the Valiant lose to the Gladiators on Saturday, and then the last matchup of the entire regular season for Season 2 decides a playoff spot between the Chengdu Hunters and the LA Valiant.
And that's another thing, too. You have the Shock, who have been they've been working all of their players into their lineup, right? We've seen Rascal swapping over to the Baptiste. Sinatra's been in. Stryker's been in. We've seen both of their tanks. You just don't know what look the Shock are going to throw at you. Oh my god, I can't talk. But they also have their own way of dealing with the metas, and it's happened from meta to meta in the Overwatch League this season. So the Shock have their own way of handling things, which is unique to them, because they don't play the same way that all of these other teams are playing, so that makes them a very hard team to prepare for, and if you're the Valiant, you do not want to be put in that position. Now, that being said, with the homestand events, we do typically see the home teams having a little bit of a boost, playing at home, so, they kind of got, that buffer, so who knows, maybe the upset potential would be there even if they do face a Shock, but the Shock have been the most consistent team in the Overwatch League throughout the entirety of the season, and that would be a pretty tall order for the Valiant, regardless of if they are competing at home or not.
Yeah, and it's weird that, it's in LA, but only the Valiant are the home team. The Gladiators are in LA, but they're only playing Saturday. They're not playing Sunday. Mm-hmm. This is an LA Valiant Kit Kat challenge. Because I feel the LA Gladiators are more Twix people. So we might have the Twix challenge.
But are they left Twix or right Twix? It's a very important question.
They could. All right, fine. We won't go because that is a difficult question to ask. maybe the LA Gladiators are more of a Snickers challenge,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe what's the Heath bar? No, not Heath bar. What's the one that Bart Simpson's always used to eat?
Butterfingers?
Butterfingers. Yeah, they could the Butterfinger challenge. You know, and then we could just start naming challenges after candy, like who gets the Skittle challenge? Who gets the Starburst challenge? Who gets the what's the one where you just eat the sugar from a sugar stick?
The magic dip ones? Or the dip
Yes,
sticks? I can't remember what they call them.
The fun dip. The
Fun
fun
Dip, yeah,
dip
that's it.
champ, where everyone's just all hopped up on the fun dip.
That would... I don't know if you would give it to Atlanta or Dallas, but you would have to play Mickey in that situation, because he'd be
I
just
don't-
so pepped up.
I don't think we need to give Mickey that much sugar.
No?
No. You know who you give it to.
Sugar
You give it to Atlanta. And then you bring out, and then it could be a promotional item. You come out with a sugar-free fun dip, and you give it to sugar. I am a marketing genius. Blizzard, why are you not hiring Edinar to run this stuff? I came up with the Kit Kat boomsticks
Thunder Sticks.
last night, Thunder Sticks, and then now the sugar-free fun dip, sponsored by Sugar Free.
Mhm.
Come on, I deserve an Emmy for this.
Yeah?
I'm gonna nominate myself for an Emmy this year just for this
You
segment.
do that.
Yep, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna go there either way too.
You do that.
Nominated or not, just be like, yeah, no, I'm gonna.
There you go.
I'm gonna Zoidberg the hell out of it.
As you
Where
should.
like, yeah, like I'm not even gonna be nominated yet. I'm gonna win.
Then you will crab dance your way home. Exactly. Well, with the way that the Dragons are going, they'll also be crab dancing their way out of playoffs.
Oh God,
pretty soon.
the Dragons are our first round loss. They're just not playing good. They are getting decimated by this rule queue,
So,
like way more than we thought they would.
so let's say hypothetically, we have some situation where the Spitfire, the Fusion, and the Dragons are gonna fight to the death to advance in the playoffs. Who comes out clutch in that moment, knowing that really no one has any sustainable momentum right now?
I say Spitfire. And the only reason I say that is because I have more faith in the tank line of the Spitfire than I do for the Fusion or the Dragons.
Okay.
Like they actually all have very comparable DPS lineups. Like I mean, you're talking Prophet Birdring, Ding, and then DM or Yagaben, and then you have EQO and Carpet. Like all really good DPS lineups. But the tank line, you know, I mean, it's hard to compare with Gesture and Fury. Like they're a great DPS lineup. Fury eats just under one ultimate per 10 minutes. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was last I looked, he was like 0.74 ultimates eaten per 10 minutes. That's crazy to think that somebody can eat that many ults. So like that team could really just rely on their tank lineup, and just dominate over the other teams. Will either one of these teams, after they do the play-in games, move farther? No. I think all three of those teams lose to any one of the top 6 teams.
Watch both of last year's finalists see the earliest exit possible.
Yeah.
It's
Or
very
we see Spitfire fusions for 2 years in a row, and we're gonna be like, damn it. Nobody wants to see this. If we have that championship game, I'm gonna be really disappointed.
Yeah. I think the likelihood of that is in the negative percentile.
Is that the same percentile that New York has?
Pretty close.
Like, all right, let's say
pretty
Philly or London go up against New York in the first round of the playoffs. Who wins that? Because that's a tough one.
Not the fans.
The viewers lose. But like, let's be real. Like, New York is probably going to lose the first round. So that basically means whoever plays them has to win one round after that. Hold on. Let me bring this up. No, they got to win two. So New York, all right, so the way it works is...
It would be top 8 for the
Yeah,
playoffs.
New York, whoever beats New York would have to face either the San Francisco Shock or the Spitfire or Reign. Is the way it works out. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't see them getting out of that. Reign versus Spitfire could be... Reign versus Shock could be a really good game, too. If the Reign don't make the top 6.
Right.
Oh, there's so many possibilities.
And we
that
won't
could
know
happen.
until the end of next weekend.
Yep, until Sunday at 10 p.m. 9 p.m., whenever they feel like ending it this week.
Yeah, that
Minus
depends if there's any technical pauses.
Now, we actually have a little bit added, like, dramatic, like, moments for this weekend. So, people don't really realize this, but we have an Overwatch League content creator fantasy football league coming up. Like, you've got me and Totem, Ramses, Labasco, Bob, Mel, Fowl from, Overwatch, the fantasy site.
So really only a couple of good fantasy players is what you're
and
saying.
then, like, you have Deathblow and Teppo and stuff like that. So
yeah, like people that left the fantasy scene, yeah.
Yeah. So the reason this weekend is kind of interesting is our draft order for fantasy football next Thursday, which I'm assuming we're going to stream. At least I hope you are, because I feel the trash talk between us will go great. Our draft order is based on daily fantasy league for Saturday. So we're going to do a daily fantasy league between the 12 of us on Saturday. And whatever order we place in is our draft order for the fantasy football. And I love this. And I will dominate all of you. I will. I just know it.
The most important thing at the end of the day is we just cannot allow Ramses to win.
I don't think that's a problem.
I mean, that's a pretty big field. I mean, the likelihood of him winning is also a negative percentile.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's other people in it, like Mel from the Cavalry and OW Recap. She said her only objective is to do better than me. Well, sucks to be you, Mel, because I will destroy you. You're a Kansas City Chief fan. You're going to overdraft the Chief players left and right, and I'm okay with this. Overdraft the useless players. Yep.
The better
Trash
players
talking about
on the
fantasy
board.
football on this. I'm okay with it.
So yeah, we got that to look forwad to. KitKat rivalry week to look forward to. We'll see who makes the playoffs, who finishes with what seed, and then it's playoff time. I can't wait.
Oh, the playoffs are going to be amazing. I can't wait for the playoffs.
Plus, it's double elimination, so that should be pretty interesting as well. So, they're trying to give New York as many opportunities as possible. That's a New York rule. That's what it comes down to.
They're like, well, you may have lost, but let's give you another chance
They
to lose.
couldn't clutch it the first time, so...
Or the second.
Let's see if it will happen the second time. Okay, no.
No. What about the third? No. Maybe the fourth and fifth time. Maybe. New York will not suck. All right, so here's another random question. Does New York, if they get knocked out in the first round, do they blow up their team?
It's so hard to say. That's a tricky one, because, like, for one, I do feel like their DPS line has way too much overlap, so that would be where I would start. I feel like their other lines are in a pretty decent spot, but DPS would be my primary focus if I were to shuffle things around on that team specifically.
I think they blow it up.
Either way, like, I would imagine we'll see staff changes on that team. Just due to, well, like, they're winning in the groups, like, in the regular season.
So they're making money. It's just that they're not making the most possible money.
They were making money on the old format. They won't be in 2020 when there's no stage playoffs.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting there's no stage playoffs.
Yeah, and I will tell you, when I was starting that spreadsheet, I put stage 1, week 1, just out of habit. I was like, that's not right. It's just all weeks, and then that's it. So yeah, that's gonna get some taken. That's gonna get some getting used to. So we'll see how many times we say stage in the 2020 season. So, yeah, that drinking game might get a little bit more cautionary.
We might have an episode or two where we're drunk by the 20-minute mark.
Yeah.
At least me.
But with that,
I'll call it seasons, and they'd be like, no, it's stages. It'd be like, no, it's seasons. Dang it. Mm-hmm. I got it right this time, finally.
Yeah. We'll just have to see about that. But with that being said, guys, we are going to go ahead and close out the show for tonight. So if you guys want to help us out, the best thing to do is to go leave us a review over on iTunes. And Ed, we actually got a new review this past week, so why don't you go ahead and let them know what the latest review is, because it is New York related.
Okay, first off, there is zero chance I am saying this review without singing. At all. Okay, so we got a 5-star iTunes review from Prince Ali Alibaba. Strong as 10 regular men, definitely. So,
and if you don't get that reference,
I don't know what's wrong with you. If you don't get that reference, stop listening to this podcast.
Especially with how much we talked about Disney tonight.
Disney. Okay, so Prince Alibaba says, titled Bring On Your New York Hate. I have been a fan of LW Blue, now NYXL, and have gotten quite used to things, LOL. Still the best team ever.
Okay, so...
Except in the playoffs.
So, by getting quite used to things, is he meaning, like, getting knocked out of the playoffs early, not living up to your expectations as a team, not knowing why they shouldn't play Pine when it's a DPS meta?
Like, alright, so here's the thing. New York fans can get used to another New York State team in the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
They always made it to the playoffs into the Super Bowl. They just couldn't win it. Mm-hmm. That is what the NYXL are. You may love them, you may hate them, but at least you know they're not going to win it all.
Even if they're in a crap division.
Exactly. So, Prince Ali Alibaba, strong as 10 regular men, definitely. Thank you for the review. I do like somebody who, I will say this, someone who follows a team or follows players from a Korean contenders team, or this probably was from more the Apex days, follows them from the tier 2 scene to the Overwatch League scene. I give you much credit because not a lot of people follow those teams. I will say that. Like, you have the Runaway fans that are Titans fans because of Runaway. You know, like you have a lot of, is it Meta Athena? Not Meta Athena. The Dragons. Where did they come from?
Condu Panthera.
Condu Panthera. Like, you have a lot of Condu Panthera fans who are now Dragons fans because of that.
Shane Du Panthera.
Yes. So, like, you are a Apex fan who followed the players to the Overwatch League, so I give you much credit. And the Aladdin reference gives you plenty of bonus points. Unless that is your actual name, then you are legit a Disney prince.
And also a thief.
And a thief.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a talking monkey.
This is also true.
And a carpet that flies.
But the monkey can't fly.
But the monkey can't fly or talk, but he can make sounds and you understand him. Mm-hmm. So that means that you're a little bit like Disney Prince / Dr. Doolittle.
I was going to say that.
Like you're some weird combination.
Right.
So, well, I appreciate the 5-star review. Well, any reviews. Sorry I bashed on New York. No, I'm not sorry.
No, sorry, not sorry.
But, sorry, not sorry, but you are a diehard fan of a team, and I can respect that. Even a team that can't finish it out.
I mean, that's how it was on LW Blue. It's how it is in NYXL, and whatever other iterations. But you know what? At least XL2 Academy can make a run of things, so they at least have that going for them. So they're...
All I have in my head stuck in my head right now is Aladdin songs.
Of course, I'm not even surprised.
The Alibaba, strongest 10 regular men, definitely.
So of course, guys, send us more reviews. We always appreciate it. And you know, if you have more Disney references, and we'll keep singing. I
will sing Disney references left and right. I'm pretty much like I'll listen to Disney songs at work now. Mm-hmm. So if you have Moana references, I got that on lockdown. Yeah. And Frozen. I have a 4-year-old niece. I got Frozen music on lockdown.
Yeah, and that super serious like Frozen 2 trailer always cracks me up.
Right? Like sort of Frozen 2 went like dark. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're targeting like 6-year-old girls. Why are you going dark?
You're targeting 6-year-old girls and Edinar.
Yeah, like I'm gonna see it opening weekend. I already told my niece
we're going.
So I actually have a funny Disney story with my niece. Like my niece, she's 4, so she's just getting into like the Disney princesses and all that stuff. And like I was talking to her about Disney World and how we're gonna go, and I'm gonna take her one of these days. We're gonna go. We're gonna get all the autographs. We have to go get an autograph book.
So, okay,
and stuff like that.
Before you finish this story, are you going to be a princess for a day?
No, I will not, but I will 100% buy my niece whatever Disney princess costume she wants and a tiara, and I will let her wear it, and we will walk around Disney as her dressed as a princess.
Right.
And I will take her for dinner in Cinderella's castle. I will do everything she wants. But like I was like, we're gonna go and we're gonna get autographs. We gotta go buy an autograph book, one of your collection tiaras. My sister texts me the next morning with the "I effing hate you." And I'm like, why? And she's like, my niece woke up at 4 a.m. and came and woke up my sister panicking because she didn't have an autograph book for her and Uncle Ednar to go to Disney World with. And I guess that's all she's been talking about for like the past week and a half. And I'm like, my job as an uncle is complete. Mm-hmm. The only thing I have to do now is I have to, and my sister agreed to this, I'm the only one who will show her Star Wars. Okay. Because I want to see the look on her face. Spoiler, when Luke finds out Vader is his dad. I want to see that surprise on her face. Like I want to see that genuine
reaction.
Genuine reaction to being like, "Oh my god." Like that is what I want to see, and I'd be like, "That is what it's all about." Right there. Mm-hmm. Wow, we went on a Disney rant today.
You know what?
2 days
it happened
in a row.
yesterday too, which I did cut out of the audio version.
You what?
I told you I was going to.
Oh, blasphemy. Me and Bob will just have to recreate it.
Well, I mean, they could listen to the YouTube video if they want to listen to that.
fine.
But, if you want to learn more about Disney, go check out the YouTube video from Les Site's OWL by the numbers. But if you want to find additional Overwatch-related content, of course, we have Overwatch Recall, which is our hub for content creation for all things Overwatch, whether it is Overwatch, Overwatch League, Path to Pro, or that one other fantasy Overwatch League podcast that isn't on our network, which is also on High Noon Productions, which may or may not have had our Listener League winner this past week that Blaze and Bob didn't want to say on air for some reason. I don't understand. But that's besides the point. But every Sunday, sometimes on Monday, we do the weekly recall, posting all of the past episodes from the past week from all the podcasts out there. So to find the latest, follow us on Twitter at OWRecall. Now, if you guys would like to support our podcast network, you can do a couple of different things. For one, we do have a Patreon page at patreon.com/OWLnetwork. We do have tiers starting at just $1 a month. Every little bit does help us. So you too can join the likes of our master and above patrons, Blazing Bob, Brandon, Joseph, Alan, Kesha, in helping our network grow. And of course, we're on Twitch. We stream basically 4 nights a week. So Twitch Prime subs are always great. So our normal Twitch, subs as well, which are $4.99 a month. And then you could, of course, get our network emoticon unlocked. But Ed, why don't you go ahead and let our listeners know how they can contact our show and ourselves?
All right, so you can reach us through email at hndoverwatch@gmail.com. We are on Twitter, so you can come over there and message us at hndoverwatch. We do have our website that has definitely changed in the past few weeks, so go check that out at owlnshow.com. We are on YouTube, so go watch the extended Disney talk from OWL by the numbers on youtube.com/Overwatch League Network. We are on Discord, so come join us over there. Ask us questions at discord.me/OWLshow. Like Totem had said, we are on Twitch at twitch.tv/OWLshow. We are a Twitch affiliate, so come help support the show by subscribing with that awesome Amazon Prime membership like Jay-Z did earlier in the show. Jay-Z is Joespel. Just easier to say Jay-Z. We do stream, like you said, regularly 4 nights a week. It's Overwatch League Network, 7 p.m. Pacific on Mondays. OWL by the numbers. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific, which is like half fantasy, half rambling. We do a lot of rambling on that show. That Totem, I guess, cuts out half of it.
That was only last week.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and listen to other old episodes to see what else you cut out. I don't know if I trust you on this.
I just muted your track on literally every episode. So it's just it's just 40 minutes of dead air for the past 28 episodes.
Only like 30. True. And then we have this show, Heroes Never Die, which airs Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific. And then the whole streams, when available, run on a flex schedule. So just follow us on Discord or Twitter to see when we are going live. As Totem said, we are on Patreon at patreon.com/OWL Network. So come over there if you want to help support the show even further. You can follow me on Twitter personally at Edanar Overwatch, EDANAR Overwatch, or you can come find me on White Mane Horde and get destroyed in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
Destroyed, because the thing is I'll probably be leveling with Totem, so it's 2-on-1 because I'm leveling as a healer and I need protection,
at least early on.
yes, because I will get murdered quite horribly.
Mm-hmm.
So Totem, where can they find you?
Well, I'm also on Twitter. That is at Little Bluebird at Totally Drunk CTR. And if I'm streaming live, it'll of course be on our podcast channel at twitch.tv/OWLNshow. But with that being said, guys, that is going to do it for us here tonight on Heroes Never Die. This has been episode number 174. Man, we're getting up there. I have been your host, Totally Drunk, joined as always by my co-host Edanar. And we'll see you guys back. What?
No, I was just saying yo.
Oh, you're saying yo. I thought you said no. But anyways.
No,
tomorrow...
I am not Edanar.
Okay, you're not Edanar.
Not Edanar.
Mm-hmm. Or, yeah, you might identify as a princess one day. We don't know. But we'll be back on our channel tomorrow for some competitive play. We can finish up our placements. I will not be able to carry as Symmetra this time around because I already need my DPS.
Alright, so we didn't talk about this really, but like, so I placed on my tank on live, and I had an 800 SR swing from my 5 placements on PTR to my 5 placements on beta. Was an 800 SR loss,
which was pretty massive. But I do want to talk about that stuff once we wrap up all 3 of our roles, and then just kind of do an overview.
I have to go on a different account to do my DPS rolls with you. Boo.
But we'll see how that all unfolds tomorrow, guys. Take care, and have a good night.
Have a good one.